As always, we're going to take a look at global energy commodities markets, and Brent is back up almost at the $80 per barrel mark. Two main reasons for this. First, as I talked about at the top of the show, Angola pulling out of the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries, which sort of challenged markets a bit. And the other thing is Iran-backed Houthi rebels have been launching attacks in the Red Sea. So markets there anticipating potential disruption to global trade in the Suez Canal and other places. So Brent up by 21 basis points at the close of trading on Friday. And of course, WTI in North America. Interestingly, the attacks and the geopolitical risks have offset the supplies that were coming from increased inventories in the North American market. Natural gas, not so bearish, down there by 51 basis points, but of course RBOB gasoline tracking both Brent and WTI up by 6 basis points at the close of trading. Let's take a look at equities markets around the world. First, we'll look at Nigeria's stock markets. It seems like the bears had it at the end of the week. The all-share index on the NSE was down by 36 basis points at the close of trading on Friday evening, ending at 74,023.27. Of course, quite a lot of profit taking there in the markets, which probably accounted for a fairly robust value of deals at 16.5 billion naira. And we're seeing a rise in the equity market cap, now ending the week at 40.5 trillion naira. Let's take a look at what's happening in Europe and in North America. Well, generally a bullish outlook there as at Friday for European indices. The Euro Stoxx 600 ended at 0.16%. The FTSE All-Share Index in London was sort of flattish, a small rise there at 4 basis points. And of course, Germany's DAX up 11 basis points, but Paris and Spain were both down. Wall Street, what's the picture on Wall Street? Let's take a look. So Wall Street there, a positive picture all around, though not huge moves there on the trading floor. The Dow Industrial Index was up by 11 basis points. S&P was up by 7 basis points, and NASDAQ Composite Index was up by 17 basis points. I'd like to take a look at my business top picks for the penultimate week of 2023. What were my big business stories? First, Red Sea attacks, as I talked about, disrupting global trade and threatening about 20% of global shipping capacity. Companies like Hapag Lloyd of Germany and COOL of Hong Kong are saying they will use alternative routes to ship instead of the Suez Canal. As we know, the Suez Canal accounts for about 12% of global shipping trade. And actually, container ships are the biggest part of that shipping trade. Around 300 ships at the last count have said, transporting goods from Asia to Europe, they're going to look at taking alternate routes that go around the Cape of Good Hope in the southern Africa coastline. And of course, that's going to add costs to shipping around the world. So really troubling times there for global shipping due to attacks by Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, and of course the crisis in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas. What else is happening? Apple is planning a $17 billion rescue package for its Apple Watch, the Ultra Line 9 series, after a lawsuit was brought against it by Masimo, which is a medical technology company, claiming that Apple stole its patents from the Apple Watches. Now, this means that Apple, as of Thursday, had to stop online sales of 2 of its most high-end models of the watches, but it's already working on a plan to reconfigure the technology in this Apple Watches so that it wouldn't fall foul of the alleged infringement rights of the Massimo patent. Of course, we know that Joe Biden could still overrule the ruling by an International Trade Commission in favor of Massimo, the company that claims Apple infringed on its patent technology. So let's see what happens there. $17 billion, well, for a company like Apple, given its market cap and its valuation, probably sounds like a bit of a drop in the ocean to try and make things work for it to continue the sales of its watch. But Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount are in merger talks. Interestingly, last year in 2022, Warner Brothers merged with Discovery to make Warner Brothers Discovery. Now it's been actually more than a year, a 2-year merger. Now the company, the new merged and larger entity, Warner Brothers Discovery, is looking at a potential merger with Paramount as of course we know Paramount owns Paramount Movies. It also owns the CBS channel. They're looking at merger talks. It would be interesting to see whether antitrust regulators waiting on this one, because a potential merger now between a previously merged entity could lead to a big mega corporation in the media and film world in the US. But the merger talks have started, and we shall track the outcome of that over the next couple of weeks. What else do we have? Tesla is launching a new mega pack battery project in Shanghai. It's bought land for about $31 million, 20-hectare piece of land in Shanghai. It's waiting further regulatory approval, but it says that it's going to start construction of this new plant in the first quarter of 2024 with a view to starting production of 10,000 mega pack batteries for its Tesla EV vehicles, which it manufactures Model 9 and Model 6 in China. Of course, interesting times therefore. Tesla still capitalizing on China's manufacturing hub operations, especially for electric vehicles. And finally, the big one here from Nigeria is the CBN on Thursday issued a circular warning banks and cash machine operators known locally here as POS operators from Collusion. There's fears and speculation of a cash crunch. It's also about a year, it's the first year anniversary of the Naira redesign policy, which, if you remember, also caused a cash crunch in the Nigerian economy, leading to stranded commuters, operational challenges for business. There's now fears of a similar occurrence this year, but for a different reason. As I mentioned, the CBN warning banks, deposit money banks, and cash machine operators against collusion, and has asked the public to report any cited practices of search should they come across that through an online form it also issued to the public. So that's it for my top picks for this week.